just a little different. And then maybe some takeaways that people could do
Mhm.
ritual wise on their own.
Mhm.
And then if they want the grander experience, how can they find you?
The
You're
grander- the
you're about to
grander
do some
experience.
more on your
Yeah.
own,
Yeah.
and so all that kind of
The
stuff.
different pathways in.
Yeah, the different pathways in, and then how having because I've never done a professional photo shoot for myself as a woman unless it was with my family.
Yeah.
That counts, but not really.
Yeah.
And
it's
how
different.
do the people that you've helped, how do they feel in their body afterwards? Does it continue with them afterwards? Do you know?
Mhm.
And how does that look?
Definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think a lot of people think of photography as healing and transformative.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
it so much is.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your snakes.
Thanks.
We'll see you're the snake.
My
I
snake.
have a little
in me.
snake necklace coming from Etsy, but it's not here yet.
Ooh. They edit it, right?
Yes.
If I ramble for a while,
We edit. Yeah.
I'm definitely a rambler. Like go off.
Everybody that I've
Oh
had on,
shit!
it's really loud.
This is trippy. Can you hear my own voice?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Whoa! It's gonna trip me out.
It's always weird.
It's hard. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it after the first couple. I was like,
When I recorded my meditations, I had to record it like this, and it was like echoing in my ear while I was recording the meditation. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
were you stuck in your head during meditation? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Are you packed and ready to go on your
Absolutely not.
great? That sounds like something I would be doing. Yeah.
I leave at like
Last minute.
3 a.m.
Oh,
tomorrow,
nice.
so
Just be throwing shit in a bag. Yeah.
yeah, I did the pre-pack, but
Oh, good.
it's a process.
But you're probably mentally packing right now as we
Mhm.
speak. Yeah.
I'm mentally packed already, but been mentally packed for a while.
It's awesome. Oh.
You stuffy?
Still a little stuffy. Yeah. I had my tooth pulled finally
Oh,
last Tuesday. So it's just kind of.
it's cold too.
Ooh, yeah.
My hair froze when I walked the dogs this morning. It was like 20.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
It's cold in Eugene at 20.
Yeah, it was very cold.
Oh my gosh. This crunch.
Yeah, exactly.
I always worry about my snot's gonna like freeze out of my nose. Like in the movies. I'm like, oh my god, that's totally me. That's my nightmare.
Yeah, editing video snot is a lot harder than photos. Got many frames.
Yes. I was worried about that during my photo shoot, actually.
Snots.
I think great. I'll just be like playing the gong and I'm just like
It's got a snot.
because my nose constantly runs on its own sometimes. I'm like, oh, that's sexy. In a Zoom meeting, I'm like, oh,
Oops.
luckily, most of the time it's clear. That's good. So. Okay.
Make sure my phone is on silent.
Oh yeah, I'm about to have a go collect this. Thank you. Good reminder. My school bus alarm will go off soon.
School
For my
bus
kids,
alarm.
You never want to forget your kids at the school bus stop. I did one time. I was doing so good. All year long, I was there. I was like on it, right? Last day of school last year. I got
Forgot I'm at school.
totally forgot about the bus stop. It was like 10 minutes late. I was like, fuck. And the neighbors are calling me. I was like, I'm coming. Oh my God. They were crying. I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Can you hear yourself?
Oh, yeah. Loud and clear.
Very much so.
Okay, you're rolling.
Okay, we'll start whenever.
Am I looking into the camera at all or just looking at you?
You can do both. What camera do you want to use?
Oh no, I got you covered because I'm watching all the cameras back here, so I'm following you. So disengage.
Okay.
You should be
We're
good.
mostly looking at each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, like, should be like just don't follow that one because then we'll be like,
Okay, and then your imaginary line. So I want to keep you on this side of the frame. So at the elbow.
I'll try not to squirm too much.
is this
And-
mine?
Let's see. Yeah, Angie, you're fine.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect. That's even better. Okay.
I always play with these seats. You just got them.
Yep. And
Like
Angie,
the
it
little
wouldn't
rubber
hurt
bouncy seats. What's
it
that?
would- It wouldn't hurt if you cheated this way a little bit.
Cheated?
Meaning
What
that,
does that mean?
cheating means favor.
Oh, favor. Thank
Favor
you.
that way.
I
Learned
thought
something
you
new
said
today.
cheetah.
I did too.
Cool.
But my mic is okay?
Yeah, your mic is fine, and you can move it. Yep. Right, looks great. And we're rolling. We're live. We've been live.
We're literally live
Yeah.
too, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Start when you're like.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Love of One, Healing and Transformation, where we talk about all things modalities to bring yourself back to the love of yourself. And we bring these to you to hope that one resonates or a multitude of them resonate to help you on your own healing journey. Today, I have a different modality that most people probably don't really think about when they think about healing and transformation, but it's intentional photography and rituals. And I have the amazing Melissa Robin here with me today. Hello, Melissa.
Hi.
So Melissa does amazing photography, but she does it a little differently. So I myself have had this experience with Melissa about a month ago. So it's kind of fresh, which is great. So that's like instilled in me. And I thought it was amazing. I always needed to have a photography session for myself, just for myself, right? I usually do family photography. It was not necessarily healing. And then when I was thinking about it for a while, and all of a sudden I saw a post of yours that came across my feed, and I was like, oh, wow. And it was a goddess photography session. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds right up my alley. And I'm in the middle of like rebranding my stuff for my business and this podcast. And I was like, oh, I think this is a calling. So then I reached out and then I read more into it and I was like, wow, this is not your ordinary photo shoot. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in just photography and found this different niche, I would call it, of photography for yourself? And then we can dive into what it really entails.
Yeah, I would say this is like a multi-layered onion. It started for me when I was in high school. I was really struggling with a fear of being seen. I had like mental illness coming up for me. I had body dysmorphia and I was really scared. I was hiding. I had a lot of trauma come through. And I remember when I was a junior in high school, I took an applied arts class, and part of that was doing a darkroom class. And I was lucky enough that my teacher in high school was actually the college photography teacher.
Oh, wow.
And one of our first projects was to do a self-portrait. And I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this. Ew. And a lot of self-limiting beliefs came up for me. And when I finally surrendered to it, I actually saw myself as art for the first time. And I was able to express myself in a way that I wasn't able to with words. I really struggled with expressing my emotions. So it became this outlet for me of like, oh, all these hard things that I can't talk about, I can photograph them and literally communicate through photography and through the art form. So from there, I was like, I really want to keep doing this. It was so healing for me. And I started photographing senior portraits for the senior class. And then when I was a senior, all the senior portraits in my class. And then decided to go to photography and business school right after high school. And from there, I did 10 years of weddings and portraits. And I did a lot of boudoir sessions, especially for women in nature. And I started to see this need, right? Like I was always holding space for people and being seen and being visible. But after 10 years of doing this, I just kind of was like, oh, there's something more. And I took a year off doing weddings and portraits and started studying ritual arts, trauma-informed somatic therapy, the priestess path. And I started working with a beautiful teacher named Sophia Tom, who teaches temple body arts. And that first year of her program, I got the download of the goddess session, which is a weaving of somatic movement, meditation, intention setting, breath work, movement, dance, and kind of wove all of the things that I love together to create this offering that felt more powerful and more aligned with my soul purpose. And yeah, I think, so the core of it is my own journey with overcoming the fear of being seen and body dysmorphia, and kind of moving that into the offering over time and studying all these different modalities.
Wow. And what a beautiful container you put together too, to hold space for yourself and those who come to see you and move through that experience with you. I know that even before we had my photo shoot, it's kind of like the intentions were set then. You do a good job of like reaching out and talking through like what are your expectations and what are your intentions, and it kind of laying the framework around the experience. I love that. So we were already kind of working in some healing thought processes about laying, like settling into your body and working through those, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in front of a camera, and what am I going to wear? And is that okay? Is that too much? Is that not enough? As a woman, especially, it's really hard for us to sit in that space with ourselves, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of clients that come to me have experienced some form of sexual trauma, or any sort of trauma, really. And I think all women in some way are traumatized by the media and everything that we get pushed on us 24/7 of what we're supposed to look like, and like what it's supposed to be, when really it's about connecting to who you are and your authentic self, no matter what your gender expression is. And I think it's really beautiful to, when you say yes to an experience like this, that's when like the experience begins. Like you said, all these things start to come up. You're like, is this too much? Like, how am I going to be seen in these photographs? Like, how am I going to feel in my body? And I think it's not only just, it's the saying yes, and then the experience begins. And I think that a way that I hold the container is to, send people a guided meditation first, to be like, oh, actually, why am I even doing this photo session? To get like a deeper intention. And I think that's where the magic really begins.
Yeah, I went through that meditation and that process, and it was very healing for me, which I think is for most women that go through this experience with you, because all these things come up, right? Like, oh my God, I don't always like my chin in this direction or this angle, am I going to be okay with that? And I don't know if this dress fits me the right way in this photo, and can I sit in it perfectly? Or, all these things came up, and then it really helped me kind of figure out, why are you doing this to yourself? Right. So it really sets that pace too of healing. So you can go in it and ease into it with grace. What I love too is that just like a week or two before, we wanted to discuss what that looked like, what that journey looked like, and what was calling you, what was calling me for that moment to help you decide what space was going to be best, right? Is this something that you always do with all of them?
Yeah. So the first step is sending people that meditation and the prep guide to really prepare and set the intention. And then we do a half-hour vision call where we're talking about what came up for you in the meditation, what your intention is. And, especially if people are using these photos for their brand, like, what are your brand colors? What do you want your clients to feel when they see these photos of you? What do you want to feel in your body? And I take notes of all these things. So when we get to the day of the actual photo session, I guide people through a meditation to anchor into these words and intentions to help them fully embody it and feel it through movement. And it's been so powerful to see people like actually embody the words that they're desiring. Because when you capture someone in that embodiment, you're literally creating this like manifestation portal. So you have this photo of you, say your word is freedom. You have this photo of you expressing freedom, and then you have the actual print, and you're like, oh my God. And then it's like manifesting more of that word into your reality.
That's a good point, because anything we put out there is energy, right? Everything's energy. And it's probably just exponentially, I don't know if that's the right word, but it probably brings, that manifestation forward even more so, because
Mhm.
not only are you thinking it, setting the intention, grounding yourself in the space, doing that action, but you're putting a bunch of emotion into it too.
Mhm.
And then you see it and it's even more emotion. Or,
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
see that, how it just really I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
When we were doing it too, and I noticed this on your site for a lot of your things too, and your rituals and stuff, you utilize the wisdom and energy of cacao in
Mhm.
your. So why cacao, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've worked with a lot of different plant medicines, and about a decade ago, I sat in a cacao ceremony in Costa Rica, and it was just such an incredible experience. It was the first time I felt my heart like really crack open, and it was just so powerful for me to get into my own embodiment, like get back into my body. And I think cacao, that medicine, has this really beautiful way of helping us reconnect to our bodies. So what a perfect plant medicine to use right before an embodied photo session. It's the energy of the heart. It's the heart medicine. And yeah, I've studied with different elders over the past decade in Costa Rica and in Guatemala, and just learning so much about this medicine and what it has to offer. And I think a lot of people are really disconnected from their bodies and from their hearts. I think we live in a society where many people are disassociated, and I think it's a really powerful medicine to get us back to origin, back to body, and back to self.
Yeah, and what a beautiful way to start a embodiment
Mhm.
photography session.
Yeah.
So what we did too, and I can only speak from my experience with you, so I'm sure they're all very similar in nature. And speaking of nature, that's where we were. Do you find that most of them are all in nature? Are they all in nature?
I would say like 90% of my sessions are in nature, unless someone really wants to do something at their home or their workspace, or once in a while I'll rent a spa for some beautiful bath ritual photo shoots. But yeah, most of my sessions are in nature, and I always say that Mama Gaia, or nature, holds the bigger container for me. I think there's so much magic in, the term forest bathing. It's originally like a Japanese term, and it's about going out into the forest and really just sitting with her and like paying attention to the light. And I think when we do these sessions in nature and we do a meditation, we're really anchoring in. We're like, oh, look at the light over there, and we'll go and play in the light, and it's bringing you even more into the present moment. And I mean, Mother Earth just has endless inspiration.
She does. She definitely does. At the beach or the forest or the mountain or the river. Yeah, she has lots of beauty around her to bring it out in all of us. Do you find that people, when they're doing a goddess shoot, are they really embracing the full goddess? Do you see that unfolding all the time? And how does that unfold?
Yeah, I think that looks different for everybody, and each session is actually so different depending on the person and depending on how much time we have to drop in. Some people will do 2 hours, some people do half day, some people do full day. And the more time we have, the deeper that we can go. But I think just adorning yourself and like setting yourself